Hello and welcome to this video presentation on MASC's broadcast and aerial seating. My name is Luc Roy and I will be reviewing how we provide insurance when broadcast or aerial seating takes place. So let's get started, and I'm going to share my screen with you. We will go to the MASC website at masc.mb.ca. Again, using the website has a lot of information on it here, and the easiest way to probably find our broadcast seating is to type into the search here, click the search button, broadcast. It will take us to this link, MASC's eligibility of broadcast and aerial seating for agri insurance. And that gets us to the page we want to review and see all the information around the eligibility for broadcast seating. So as we get started here, I want to sort of remind us that the research or the literature obviously shows that broadcast and aerial seeding is a lesser method of seeding than using a drill or a planter, and for a lot of reasons: seed to soil contact, uniform seed placement, fertilizer to seed placement, crop residues, and even inoculants and increased seeding rates and stuff. So but the good news here is that at MASC we do still, as long as some steps are taken to minimize the risk, we do still, insure crops that are broadcast or aerial seeded. And you might ask, why do we separate that broadcast and aerial seeded? Why isn't aerial seeding just broadcast seeding? And I guess in general terms, it probably could be considered that way. But we define broadcast seeding, or look at it as more of ground seeding or ground broadcast seeding, and it's really seed scattered and spread on top of the ground. And our aerial seeding is just that. It's sowing seed through an aerial means such as a helicopter or a plane. And there is a difference to us in the sense, and we'll come to that, and because the aerial seeding has one additional requirement to make it eligible. So we'll come to that at the end here. So the good news is we do insure broadcast seeding, but there are kind of two major sort of hurdles that they need to attain. And the biggest one here is obviously the incorporation of soil by mechanical means. So seed must be incorporated into the soil by mechanical means. Usually with ground, you can get on the ground, and you can probably get on and harrow after also. When it comes to aerial seeding, you're probably in a situation where it's very desperate and it's so wet that you may not be able to get on there, but we still need incorporation, and that's as determined by us as the corporation, as MASC. There needs to be incorporation into the soil. To note too, when you're doing your seeded acreage report, the date of incorporation is actually your seeding date. So be very cognizant of that around seeding dates. It's not when you broadcast, it's when it's incorporated. If that's at the same time, then that's fine. But if there is going to be some lag between those two, it's really about the date of incorporation, and that, be careful it doesn't put you out of your seeding deadlines for insurability. So we've got incorporation, and the next one is the crop really needs to establish in order to be eligible for crop insurance or for agri insurance. And how much does it need to establish? It needs to establish to your coverage. So whether you've taken 50, 70, or 80% coverage, it needs to germinate and establish to at least equal to or greater than that level. And that's another requirement. So we've got incorporation, we need an establishment there. And I'm going to skip down and go right to aerial seeding. And you'll see here that another requirement, and specifically just for aerial seeding, is that you have to report that you've aerial seeded it prior to June 22nd. So somewhat similar to our excess moisture insurance, you have to report to us prior to June 22nd, and there's no exceptions there. If it's not reported to us for aerial seeding, then it's not eligible for insurance. And it needs to, we basically need to know, because we will go out there and probably do a verification to make sure that it has been incorporated, and that's the biggest thing with the aerial seeding issue. So your regular broadcast seeding is just reported, the ground stuff is just reported the same way it would be on your normally on your seeded acreage report. So I guess if we run into a situation where it doesn't establish to an acceptable level. There is still some good news there. It is that you may be eligible for excess moisture insurance, and likely are if it hasn't, if you've done everything correctly and it hasn't, established or emerged that level, you will be eligible for excess moisture insurance. So that really covers our broadcast and aerial seeding. I've also got listed here, and you can go on the website. We have our 10 service centers, and if you have any additional questions, there are insurance specialists there that would be happy to assist you and in all of our insurance products. Thank you.